Well, there you have it. That's an intro, ladies and gentlemen. And what am I introing? The latest episode, live, unrehearsed, unscripted episode of the Paranormal Portal. And I'm thrilled all of you people are joining to be here with us. That's great. Thank you all for coming in the door. And make yourselves at home. Pull up a nice comfy chair, grab a libation of your choice, and get ready to be dragged through the depths of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I am going to do my best to entertain you, but I got help, thank God. So some of the burden lies on him, and then him that I'm speaking of is the big branch of my personal family tree, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, blessed by the Aurora Borealis behind me, as always. I am magical. I always find where it is, and I set up shop right there. I am feeling good this night. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Having the aurora around your head is probably good. Although, being subjected repeatedly to that much EM is probably gonna raise issues. But it
would explain a lot.
It would explain a lot. Absolutely. The parts where was I going? What am I doing? Yeah. That's also getting old.
I forget things. Yeah.
That's part of getting old, unfortunately. So you're doing good though?
I am doing one. Especially since it's Friday.
It is Friday.
Oh, it's Friday.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Friday. You've earned it. You guys have worked your fingers to the bone to get here. And by God, I am honored that you choose to spend the beginning of your weekend right here with me and with Sheldon, of course, as we, we'll try our best to entertain you and at least have some in-depth discussions about the weird and unusual that is the paranormal, the supernatural, the Fortean topics, the UFOs, whatever we touch on. We're going to get into it all because that's how we roll here in the portal. Hey, everybody coming into YouTube. It's good to see you guys over in Rumble. We got Taipan and Barbara Mora are over there so far. Justin Goodearth popped in, as did HB Girl to You, which is Lucky Gypsy. And I'm sure we've got a bunch more over in YouTube's. I see we've got Philip Blair, Rick Waggerson, Wizard Moon, Sheldon, you're in there, Rachel's there, and John Temprin, Chucky Danger, Rachel gets it right. I think I said Rachel already, but I'll say it again because you can't ever say it too much. Lucky Gypsy's also over in Twitch. God bless her. She's all over the place. And Karen Alberding is in here, as well as, is there anybody else that I missed? I saw Hardwick was in here too. I'm sure he's still around. So Hardwick's in here as well. But I think I got the lion's share. Annie Manul is in YouTube as well, I see. I'm just scrolling up through the chats. John Stevenson's in there as well. One of our t-shirt winners that I still have to send a t-shirt to over in Oz. Sorry, John. I'm like juggling torches over here. I really wish I was more organized, but I just have a lot of fires and side projects that I'm involved in. So I apologize for the delay and for the lapse of being able to pull together another giveaway for this month, but we'll do one next month. So I hope you guys understand. I'm just doing the best I know how. And sometimes I don't know much, as it clearly shows. So anyway, if you're wondering what I mean by t-shirt giveaways, if you are, Ruth Ann, I'm trying to, Amar Taifio. I'm not really good with your last name, Ruth Ann, but I love you, and I'm so glad to see you. Thank you so much. Ruth Ann's been a part of our family for a long time, and it's great to see her come through the door again. We've missed you, but it's welcome back. Hubby's wearing the Skeen long sleeve portal shirt. Oh, very cool, Karen. Thank you. And we do have a t-shirt and hats and mugs and stickers and stuff on the Teespring or the Spring. What do they call it now? Spring. I think it's just called Spring now. But it's in the description below. So if you check out the show description, you'll see a link to that. You can go check it out. But we do give away a free t-shirt to one lucky contestant or entrant over on Discord, as well as we give away a t-shirt to one of our YouTube channel members. And we're going to put together one of my things that I'm working on when I have time, which is not lately at all. But I want to put together an opportunity for just anybody that wants to enter that hasn't already won a shirt. And you wouldn't have to be on Discord or a channel member, but you can enter, and it'll probably be a head-to-head question answer thing. And if you win, you'll get a t-shirt. So
You will eventually.
yeah, everybody will get one eventually, hopefully. Either that or, the show will die, and, those that got them will get them. But great to see everybody. Thank you so much. What am I thinking here? Thinking if I'm missing anything. Just remember that in June, ladies and gentlemen, there is a conference coming up there where you can meet Don and myself, and it's happening over in Kalispell, Montana. And I think I'm going to put this up on screen. So just give me a second, because I just remembered this now. And it's like, wait, I got to start talking about this, because anybody that can be over in Kalispell, Montana in the beginning of June, I think it's on June 7th over in Kalispell, Montana. But there is a bit of a flyer here that I've got to pull up. Let me just get it. So, yeah, this is how it rolls here, folks. I did say unscripted, right? This is what I meant. This is exactly what I meant. Sorry about this. I'm trying to figure out where did it? Oh, it's under the roundups. That's right. I think maybe that went too far. I did go too far. Let's see. Here we go. There it is. No, wait, I know what it is. It's in the wrong folder totally. There we go. Here it is. All right, let me do this. Son of a gun. Here it is. Yeah, this is great. Don't laugh at me.
There's always one moment in the show. There's always one.
Actually, there's several usually. Let me do this.
You hide them very well.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm kind of failing today, but we'll try this one and see where it does. Yeah, this is it. As soon as it loads, just waiting for it to load, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Let me blow this up a bit. Yeah, a little bit of a drum roll. Here we go. This is the actual flyer, ladies and gentlemen. Kalispell Bigfoot Town Hall is happening on Saturday, June 8th. I'm sorry, June 8th. That's right, I got to go over there on the 7th. It's happening at the Red Lion Hotel in Kalispell. You'll have a chance to meet the cast of Bigfoot Today, which is a great show as well. And that's Stephen Major and Mitch the Man Johnson. And then you can meet Don and myself. And we're going to be there. It's a one-day event. It is free to anybody that shows up. So it's not like there's no admission or entrance fee at all. But there will also be the keynote speaker is Kelly Birdall. And he is the founder of the Montana Bigfoot Research Center. And a wonderful guy and a very knowledgeable man. So he's going to be there. And there might be a surprise guest or two. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But this will be happening then. And as you can see, for more information, look to www.exnorthwest.com or call the number you see on the screen down here in the lower corner on the right. So that'll be coming up in June. So we'd love to see you there. Be there if you can. That would be wonderful to have you guys there. I'd love to meet as many listeners as possible. So if it's within reasonable distance to where you are or where you can be, it'd be really cool to see you guys. So come on down. I've met several listeners through different get-togethers like this, and it's just a blast. It's just so neat to have a chance to meet people that are hanging out, listening all the time. Because all I see is names on the screen for the most part. So it's really cool. Like when Karen Alberting has been to like most of the conferences we go to. She's there. Karen and her husband, Neil, they're wonderful, wonderful supporters. And it's been wonderful to see them over and over at many different events. So we're going to be there. Charles Howard Johnson will also be there. He's not actively presenting, but he will be there, putting up a display of his stuff and talking to people about what he does. So that'll be a great time. And Charles is a wonderful guy. I just love that man dearly. So looking forward to that event. Hopefully you guys can make it and be a part of it. So anyway, we're going to get to the news and find out what's going on in the newsverse, Sheldon.
I love the news verse. It's my favorite verse.
But do you know the words?
No.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's,
That was kind of clever. Come on. That was a dad joke.
okay.
That was a dad joke. Jeez. I mean, I'm just trying to meet your needs here. I got to get all my chats all lined up. There we go. I can see you all talking now. But while I'm reading, I probably won't. I wonder if there's a Bigfoot scented candle. Yeah, it smells like
God, I don't want it. No.
Smells like a rod of fetid meat
flesh.
and sewage. Come on, honey, let's break out the mood candle. Get the Squatch scent. Yeah, that's horrible.
I need to smell those stress smells.
Oh, the smell of rotting meat and sewage. Oh, it just calms my nerves. It's not good for you, probably. There's a reason we pull away from smells like that. It'll probably exercise your soul at the same time. I'm just saying. All right.
It'll wake you up in the morning.
Yeah,
Big smelling salts.
Oh, could you imagine? That might be the way of the future for the people that just can't get out of bed. Just have an alarm clock that like shoots out fart spray or something. Oh. Could you imagine?
Yeah, but like for those people,
I'm up. Huh?
Those people who sleep with their mouth open, I don't think so. They'll be tasting it too.
That's just wrong.
I don't want to taste poop.
Tastes like farts and onions.
Oh, God.
That's horrible.
Oh, fine.
Where Barbara Morris says, no. Yeah. I bet you, though, there's some people that just can't wake up from alarm clocks, and I'll bet you they got a face full of fart spray. That might change their whole song. Yeah. Yeah, well, smelling salts, those are brutal.
Yes, they are.
Have you ever smelled them, Sheldon?
Yep. Yes, I did. Oh, boy, they wake you up. Whoo.
Did you need to smell them? Were you out or something?
Yeah, I was, I believe it was in basic or AIT, yeah.
Oh, you passed out. They use smelling salts.
Oh. Yeah, it was AIT, I remember, because for medic training, they showed you what that does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know some people use those when they're in the gym before they do a heavy lift?
Oh, I bet. I mean, I could see why. It really amps you up. It really does.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know why. I actually heard about that on Joe Rogan. I was like, huh? Really? So apparently it's true. Yeah. Ammonia, Barbara says. Yeah. Candle comes with hairballs too. Comes with a free Squatch hair sample. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the news and find out just what I've pulled up for you guys. I mean, this is the fun of the portal, is that we just really don't have a serious agenda. We just talk, and you guys bear the brunt of that, and hopefully it's enjoyable. So anyway, let's get to the news and try to teach y'all something maybe about the news you all up. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news. The most trusted news in the universe. Oh, I got to
Trusted news.
I got to reframe you on this. Hold on. I had to change the framing for Jimmy because you guys sit higher and lower in your chairs. So
as high as this chair goes.
No, I'm sure it is, but it's not that. It's just that the way it's laid out. You're kind of on the left side of your frame too. But that's okay. No, not the other way. The other way. There you go. Now you're centered. Good enough. Yeah, GQ pose. That'll work. All right, welcome to the news desk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas, with my co-anchor, Sheldon Thomas, and we are going to dig into the news. So let's find out just what's going on in the news. I don't even remember what I pulled up. So let's see.
Wow, it's a surprise.
It's a surprise for all of us. Actually, some of these I pulled up before Wednesday's show, but there was a ton of them, so I pulled up a ton. And, yeah. So I don't remember them and I haven't read them. I never read anything that I read on the show until the show. Like I don't pre-read things or practice read them. So when I screw up things, it's all real and in real time. It's not scripted. All right, here we go from unexplained-mysteries.com. Please support this site and all the sites that we use throughout the course of the show. These sites are amazing and they need your love and support. So please stop in and visit them, check them out, give them traffic because that helps to keep the lights on, if you know what I'm saying. So let's go to this one. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us the first article from the Creatures, Myths, and Legends category. Here we go. I think this is a really weird claim. I don't have any idea. And maybe it's part of what's going on here, but it's not the whole picture. But according to a filmmaker, he claims that Bigfoot may feast on the blood of wild animals.
What?
Nosferatu foot. It's not a vampire thing. I mean, if they're killing something, sure, they probably drink the blood too for the protein if they can, but I don't think they like crack open a vein and just, pick the thing up and squeeze it like an orange. Let's see what the claim is. It says Bigfoot researcher and filmmaker Kelly Lockman has a theory concerning the discoveries of carcasses drained of blood. If there really is a species of unknown bipedal hominid roaming the forests of North America, what exactly does it eat, and why have we never found any evidence of it? Well, we have found evidence. That's a misleading statement. There's hundreds and thousands of casted prints, several of which actually show dermal ridges and such. So I mean, and even what's the word I'm looking for? Physiological structure deformations that, if somebody's going to make a fake foot, they're not going to put in, a re-healed injury or a broken, foot that healed weird. They're not going to build that into a cast. They're just going to make a footprint and stomp out a bunch of impressions. So there's plenty of that evidence. There's anecdotal evidence. There's hair samples. And there is DNA samples, believe it or not. While some people are, up in the air about the science of it and all of that, it doesn't negate the fact that there are samples and there are samples being returned with unknown DNA. So something's going on. So there is evidence. I don't like those kind of claims because I think they are absolutely misleading. Anyway, let's continue. According to Kelly Lockman, a Bigfoot investigator and filmmaker, the discovery of a dead buzzard and deer in the woods of North Carolina recently could provide an answer to this very question. Both animals had seemingly been drained of blood by some sort of predator. Lockman believes this predator could in fact be Bigfoot, or they could have been moved from where they were actually killed. Really. And perhaps discarded for some reason, or maybe they got spooked off of it. It says, I think this one is what? This one was a warning to us, he wrote on Reddit. There's no blood. I've recorded witness testimony describing a very similar scene. It may be that they just drink the blood.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not so sure you can make that distinction because you found a buzzard and what was the other one? Both a deer and a buzzard without blood. It's like, well, the Bigfoot must be drinking it. How in the hell did you get there?
Yeah, that's a leap.
I mean, Craig, it could be, it could be Twilight's place up there. There's actual vampires up there drinking blood. I mean, there might be shiny vampires running around.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't feed on humans; they feed on deer and stuff.
That's
and
right.
That's
the
what
Cullens.
the movies. Yeah, the Cullens, right? Both the latest. Wait, I think it's waiting for us. There's no blood; they just drink the blood. In his latest documentary, Lockman interviews Carolyn Allen, a dog owner who believes that a Bigfoot might have been responsible for killing her 2 German shepherds. Both dogs had been drained of blood, she noted, despite being kept behind an 8-foot fence. That wouldn't stop a vampire.
Come on.
Cullens could leap right over that.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
It was like it had broken their necks. There was no blood or anything. It's hard to describe. They were looking backwards. You can check out the documentary for yourself below. Well, I'll put a link in the chat, so you guys are certainly welcome to check it out. I don't know how you get there because you found a buzzard and a deer had no blood. There's not just Bigfoot in these wildlands. There are other things, and potentially, I mean, honestly, it sounds silly, but there are reports of people seeing vampires. I've interviewed one of them myself. And it's a person I very much believe that he had a very sincere experience 2 times in his life seeing these things.
Such a creepy story.
It is a creepy, creepy story. And I don't envy his experience at all. But I don't know. This person is basing this entire summation on the fact that, well, there's deer, there's bear, there's foxes, there's squirrels, there's raccoons, badgers, etc. And then there's Bigfoot. Like the one unknown that he's saying is out there is Bigfoot. It's like there's dogmen, there's pale crawlers, there's, skinwalkers, there's possibly vampiric things. There's maybe chupacabra. God, they're sighted all over. I don't know what region he's investigating in, but generally in the south towards Mexico. There are reports in Arizona and Texas of these chupacabra things. I don't know. I mean, you don't just jump to, well, Bigfoot's sucking blood now. It's like, can you imagine their tarry stools if they did just, if they just drank blood?
God, you have a way of describing things.
I was thinking of vampire bats, and the one thing that they're real common about is that when they poop, it's this tarry stool, and it's so. I mean, my God, if you survived on just hemoglobin or whatever, you're probably going to have some pretty loose stools. Yeah. So anyway, I put the chat in the chats. I put the links in the chats.
I put the chat in the chat.
I put the chat in the chat. I put the chat in the chat. Yeah. It's like I invented them.
Plus, Tommy's right. That's actually what I was thinking too.
What?
Like, if it's something you found the next day, blood does coagulate fast. So
yes.
It's like, it might seem like the blood's not there. It's inside the body, but coagulated.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Seeing vampires, what do they look like? Phil. Yeah, I wonder, actually. But yeah. Phil, you're gonna have to out yourself on this. I'm next time you step in vampire poop, you'll know what it is.
You see tar on the ground,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, and the smell of ammonia is meant to be real bad. Fred Flintstone's in here.
Wow.
Hey, Fred.
Big fan. Big fan.
Big fan. Love what you did with the brontosaurus ribs, just saying. And those cars, man, you must have some heavy feet yourself. But yeah, Fred Flintstone. I can't do a Fred Flintstone.
That's fair.
But I can do an okay Barney, but not a Fred.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus! I was going to talk and almost burp at the same time, and I got. I just made a gasping sound.
Oh.
Yabba dabba doo, Fred Flintstone says. Yeah. All right. So that was the first article, and you can see, I guess this guy wants his 5 minutes. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible that they might consume blood too, but I don't think that's how they're subsisting. I don't think that's what they're surviving on.
It just seems like a waste. Why waste all that meat, all that protein, all that energy for blood? That's a waste. I don't think so, personally.
Yeah, exactly. We smell bad because we don't have plumbing in the cave. We have internet, but no indoor plumbing priorities. Well, it could be that, Papa Squatch. You're right. You might want to work on the plumbing, though. I'm just saying, or at least get close to a stream. It's just make it someone else's problem. It goes downstream. I mean, it's the same as flushing.
Those fish need food too, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a circle of life right there.
That just brought back a story that I heard. Oh my God.
Oh man, does that it already sounds horrible.
Oh no, I mean it's hard for me to repeat, but I'm going to repeat it. But I'll do it in
Yes.
the family friendly version. But the, the gist of it is the this person was in Hawaii and they ate at some like some food shack along the road and stuff. It was delicious food and they pigged out and chowed down and stuff. And man, it hit him sideways. And they're riding motorcycle down in Hawaii. And instead they stopped at a lagoon and he was cramping up something fierce. So he kind of like was like, oh man, and there was no bathroom around, so
Oh no.
he wandered out into the water. And he said he had no choice. It was like it's literally a 911 incident at this point. He's like his whole body's folding in half, like it's coming out, and it's either going to be in there or in the water. So he decided to go out in the water and wade out there. he said he let it go, and all of a sudden there were fish everywhere. They moved in like it was a chum cloud.
No. No.
It's this visual that I can't shake. It's like, let's go fishing.
Maybe he ate a lot of corn, you know?
Yeah, I know what I'm using for bait next time I go to the ocean.
Oh God. Whoa.
Have a roadside stand that says fresh bait.
God, I regret tempting you. Oh,
I can't help it. It's so disturbing. Ah, have to boil the hell out of it, Rick says.
oh no, not even then.
It's spelled pool party, not poo party. Yeah, so there you go.
God,
I just can't quit.
God,
I can't
please.
quit it right now. I
Please.
gotta let this run its course. Hold on.
Oh, just imagine fish eating you. Oh.
This beautiful cloud of these tropical fish just coming in, and I swear I chewed that corn. I don't know. All right. Anyway, there you go.
Please, anyway.
That's the first story tonight.
Oh God, how did we get to this subject?
we might only get, well, it started with blood sucking Sasquatch and it just went downhill.
Turned into
from there.
poop.
I know, but it was the blood sucking and then the tarry stools and it just went south. It went so badly. Why don't you have more subscribers? I don't know.
Oh God.
I don't know. It's a mystery. I don't know what's going on here. Jeez.
Maybe there's a reason why.
There might be some discerning tastes out there that we don't account for in our sub count. But we love you guys. You guys are our people.
Tonight.
Yeah, just nonsense. Yeah, it's like a pathogen in here. I'm telling you.
Oh, Rachel, no. Come on. Stop.
Oof.
No.
There you go. All right, so that is that. Huh.
God.
Yeah.
So sorry, Rumble. So sorry.
Sorry, Rumble. Sorry, YouTube.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Twitch. Yeah, it's.
Sorry, Twitch.
Yeah, we didn't know. We had no idea. Like I said, this is unscripted. This is all coming out right out. There's no filter.
I wish there was more scripted.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, guys, stop it. Jesus.
All right, already.
Chucky, God.
What Chucky do?
Said that joke ran out of gas. God.
Come on, it was funny. You gotta admit that. I mean, just think of that visual. It's like, oof.
It wasn't funny. Horrifying.
It's still funny.
God.
All right, let's get to the next one and see if we can recover here at all. Well, this might be a 2 news story night here on the news. I'm going to need some
God.
stories for tomorrow anyway. It's just going to be me tomorrow, but I might see if I can get someone to come join me. You just never know. I'm getting a ticking noise from something. Must be my phone. There we go. I think it's better now. Tommy. That was, I can't say it on the air, but yeah.
I agree with you, Tommy. That's
Yeah.
what I agree with.
Amen, Tommy. You're absolutely right, sir. All right, next up in the news is another gem. What is this? Oh, this one's different. Apparently, Chuck, for those of you that may not have known, Tucker Carlson is apparently a pretty big believer in the whole UFO phenomena and has hosted shows and specials about that. I think he's pretty much on board with the idea that we're being visited by something from somewhere. Apparently his theory is a little interesting, though. I don't know. Maybe there's something to it, but who knows? Let's check it out. From unexplained-mysteries.com comes our next article. And this is from April 21st, April 21st, not the 1st, the UFO phenomena. And it's Tucker Carlson claims that UFOs are piloted by spiritual entities. What do you think of that?
I've always wondered.
I mean, I don't know. I would think it's maybe more likely technological, but maybe it's spiritual. I don't know. It says the former Fox News host also claimed that there were UFO bases both underground and under the ocean. I think he's right. I don't think that's a big stretch. Speaking during a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Carlson, who is certainly no stranger to controversial views, outlined what he thought about the UFO phenomena. Rather than implying that UFOs are piloted by extraterrestrial visitors from another planet, Carlson put forward the idea that these objects are instead controlled by some sort of spiritual entities that may have been present on Earth for as long as humankind. Huh. How are they putting together UFOs? There's a ton of evidence that they're under the ocean and under the ground, he said. They've been here for a long time, and it's pretty clear to me that they're spiritual entities. Huh. You see, now, I think the problem is that we use the term ghosts and spirits pretty liberally in our description of things that just appear to be otherworldly. Like they're maybe not really here, but they're here but not here. When they can pass through solid objects, when they can traverse and appear and disappear. Oftentimes we equate that to must be a ghost, must be a spirit. But it could just be the fact that maybe they're not, and this is a term that I've kind of utilized through the ages here on the show, but maybe they're just not in phase with us. Maybe they're just not quite fully here, manifest in the same frequency that we are, but they share the space that we do, or have access to it anyway. And so they may appear to behave spiritually to us, but that's our limited understanding of not only of ourselves and our reality, but also of the dynamic physical world that we live in. And when I say physical, I mean both physical things that we understand and can measure and touch, and those things that we just can't yet, quantify. So that's my take. But let's continue reading. He further clarified this point by explaining that by spiritual, he meant that these beings are above the observable nature and don't behave according to the laws of science. Well, at least the science that we understand. Fair enough. This idea of UFOs being spiritual rather than extraterrestrial echoes the views of other high-profile individuals, including Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson and GOP legislator Tim Burchett. Burchett, in particular, made clear references to the Bible and UFOs last year. The first chapter of Ezekiel is pretty clear, a UFO sighting, he said at the time. Whenever I use the term angels, to me, it's synonymous with the extra-dimensional being. Well, extra-dimensional, there you go. That's not necessarily spiritual, but anyway. There you go.
It depends on your definition of spiritual, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, again, it's kind of a blanket term that's used for pretty much anything that behaves like a ghost, or what we consider ghosts. But they may very well be, very much incarnate and present in their own version of reality. But I don't know, maybe it doesn't really matter, because maybe when we're in our next life, after this body fails, we'll be very much present in our own experience too, but, and seem physical. But anyway, I don't know. It's just a whole bunch of gray areas, I guess. Interesting story, though.
It's tough. I mean, part of I don't know where the whole, even in the article says that it's clear that, what do you mean it's clear?
Yeah.
We don't have an inkling of knowledge on that.
Yeah, exactly. We may have observed phenomena, or people have observed things that seem to indicate something, but to say anything is clear, sound like a White House press secretary at that point.
Yeah.
And I mean any of them, because they're all double talkers. You know, I mean they're very good at what they do, but they're very frustrating for anybody looking for the truth. Anyway. All right, so that was that one. Let's get on. I don't know. Let's look at the time, I guess. God, it's already 7:40. Two news stories took 40 minutes.
Yeah, because we had to talk about poop for 20 minutes.
You can't buy this kind of entertainment. I'm just saying.
No.
This is not purchasable. It's coming to you free, folks. You are so lucky.
That's right. It's all free.
It's all free. All right. And probably irresponsible, but it's free. Anyway, let's get to what's left. All right. So we're going to wrap up the news here. And join me tomorrow night for more of the news. If you love the news, we got more of it. So we'll get into that tomorrow night, but let's get back to the rest of the show. There you go. That was the news. Did you enjoy it, Sheldon?
Most of it.
Come on, you got to admit there's never two of the same shows here on the show. Never.
Oh, no.
We never have.
I do like that. I do like there's no script and we can just kind of go and talk about whatever we want to talk about. But sometimes it goes too far.
Yeah, well, you know, that was an interesting discussion, though. I'm just saying. Sometimes you got to hit the gutter to get to the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or in this case, the river.
Or the stream, the river, yeah, whatever
The
works.
stream.
Yep.
God.
All right, so we're going to get back to the rest of the show, and we're going to dive into an article that I think should be kind of uplifting and good. You know, oftentimes, again, on the show, we talk about a lot of dark stuff, a lot of spooky stuff, but sometimes I like to cover some happy, positive stuff, because I think that we need to look at that side of the paranormal as much as we can, because it's not all, you know, horror and terror and fear. Sometimes there's things that are benevolent to us out there, and they're looking after our best interest, and those things deserve the acknowledgement as much as the dark. I think it's good to be aware of the dark, but also it's great to be aware of the light. So, all right, we're going to get to this article. This is from a site that I really do love. They have so much stuff over there. It's just crazy. They do an amazing job. And this article was written by a woman named Linda Myers, or it was aggregated and collected and organized by her. And it's from ranker.com. And ranker.com is an amazing site. Check it out, because you'll find pretty much anything you're interested in. You'll find articles and articles and articles about it. So definitely check them out, reference it. It's really, really cool. But this Linda Myers article is pretty cool. Did you disappear for a second, or what happened?
Well, I'm all fuzzy. I'm just trying to fix it.
Oh, that's what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
There you go. I think you're on it. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Oh, it went fuzzy again.
Come on. Come on, baby.
Come on. That's not bad. There you go. You're in.
There we go.
You're focused. All right. So this one's called, it's from a segment of Ranker called The Graveyard Shift. I like this part especially because it's really in our wheelhouse here. But this is a great article, and she's done a number of other wonderful articles that you should check out. And so head to ranker.com and check out her work and many others. But this article is called Graveyard Shift Readers Share Their Unexplainable Guardian Angel Stories. And these stories, I think, are so important because, God, we hear about all the dark, horrible things, not only in the paranormal supernatural, but in the world. And it's good to be reminded, wait, there's a lot of good out there, too. There's a lot of wonderful things, including in the paranormal supernatural, where, there's these loving beings that are looking after us. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So let's talk about these.
Yeah.
And the first one we're going to get to was posted by a person by the name of Jessica Serber. Said, when I was a teen, I was driving home on a curvy back road, coming upon a big blind curve. I suddenly heard ambulance sirens super loud, like loud enough to be right in front of me. I slammed on my brakes, expecting an ambulance to come hurtling around this blind curve, but it didn't. What did come around that curve was a giant freaking truck going well over the speed limit, fully on my side of the road, and if I hadn't slammed on my brakes, I would have hit it head on. That's really cool. And it's just one of those things. It wasn't like she saw the angel. It wasn't like it took the wheel or anything, It was just like she was given a warning that she completely understood enough to make her stop, and that saved her life probably. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. You ever have an angel story, Sheldon?
An angel story?
Yeah. Have you ever had any experience where you think your angel was looking out for you?
I mean, anytime I get on, what I believe is anytime I'm getting a bad feeling about something, it's a warning.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
I've learned to always follow them, because whenever I haven't followed them, I always find out why I had the bad feeling, right? So
yeah.
At this point, I'm always assuming, like, look, if I'm given help, I should probably take it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I assume, is that, like, it's like someone warning me. And so anytime I have that, that's what I feel like is them giving interference to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a good point. I think that's, it depends on your openness to that kind of thing. I think in some people's cases, they're so, they're in their blinders. They're, not usually picking up things. And then you get these amazingly, hard hitting interventions of sorts.
And that's the thing. I wonder why people don't understand what that is, like, in a sense. Like, how, like, when you think about it, when you get a bad feeling about something and then something bad happens, like, well, how else could you know? Like, even logically, how could a part of you have even known?
Right.
Without any kind of supernatural interference, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Well, let's go to the next one. It says, ghosts get physical. This was posted by Jessica Miller. She said, I had a weird experience. I went to pull out on the main road and floored it. Suddenly, my leg was yanked off the gas and slammed on the brake, and in front of me was a Jeep I hadn't seen on the clear road. I stopped short of hitting him. My joints in my leg were sore, and I had a massive bruise on my leg that looked like a handprint. It's like, wow. It's like a driving instructor. Right?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I was with them that day.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank God. But how about that? They actually had a physical remaining print of a hand on their arm or on their leg in the shape of a bruise, or a bruise in the shape of a hand. Yeah, I should say.
It's a little hard of a press, but I get it.
Yeah. Her guardian angel apparently works out. Yep. Didn't skip leg day. Thank you. Sorry, come on. That was a little clever, right? A little bit? Go, nothing?
I'll give you that. All
right, thanks. It was leg day. All right, next one is Frozen in Place by, who the hell wrote this?
Wow.
Pinio Tarangi Strother. Pinio Tarangi Strother. I'm just winging it.
Could be.
Might be. It's phonetically, I think, okay. But my mom had a similar experience with me as a baby in the car. She had the green light to go straight through an intersection, and she was at the front of the queue, but said she had this overwhelming feeling that she needed to stay where she was for just a couple seconds more. People behind her were honking at her, but she waited there. Suddenly, from her right, a car ran the red light and came speeding through at breakneck speeds. It definitely would have hit my mom or someone behind her had she gone when the light was green. My mom always said that someone must have been looking out for her that day. So that's very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to be that person that gets honked at. I've been that person, and it's like, I know. Like you have car trouble, and it's like everyone,
Oh God. Yeah.
everybody's just in their own place, and they're pissed that they can't get going. And you're like, I can't do anything.
I know.
It's excruciating, but there you have it. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 4, Oh Dear, and this is by Joanne Reed. Can read that name just fine.
Nice.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that in the microphone, but I was on my way to work one night, and the word deer popped up into my head. Well, they run rampant where I live, so it's not uncommon to see them in the road or dead on the side of the road, but this time I felt compelled to call my dad, and I told him to be careful taking the parkway home because I had a feeling about something, and I mentioned what happened. Well, I got to work and realized my dad had called me back, so I called him. On his way home, he rolled his window down to smoke a cigarette when he remembered what I said and decided to drive a little slower and rolled the window back up. About that time, a buck came over the bank and slammed into the side of his truck, then bounced off and continued on. If his window had been down like it had been moments before, the horns would have gone through the open window and likely gored him. Oof.
Oh, yep.
Yikes. That's creepy.
That's exactly why deer crashes are dangerous.
Yeah. Well, not to mention that cars sit lower and they sweep them off their feet, and then this 140-pound body comes through the windshield like a cannonball.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of animal to be hitting a car.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot of cars after they hit a deer. And, obviously the deer doesn't fare well either. But, man, people have been just messed up by those things. I was driving home one night here following a friend up in the north of Idaho, up on a mountain highway going through a mountain pass. All of a sudden, a big moose came out, almost hit his car, and then turned and came directly at me. And I don't know how we both managed to miss this moose, but a moose is a whole different kind of animal. That's like hitting a really tall cow. I mean, that's how big a moose is. It's just
tanks with legs.
They are just incredibly enormous animals, and if you've never seen a real moose, it's hard to understand how big of an animal that is. But I'm here to tell you, they are gigantic, and they will mess up a car or a pickup truck like nobody's business. There's stories of little cars hitting them and the moose getting pissed and then starting to charge the car and destroying the car. I mean, they'll like get knocked down and be like, "What? You just did what?" And then they'll go charging at the car. I mean, they are just beasts. So, yeah.
Oh God. I'm always worried about moose too, because even my grandparents, who also live in Idaho, they have moose that they feed. But I've heard that like if you stop feeding them ever, they can get pissed.
Oh, moose do too? Oh,
that's what I've heard at least.
Oh, that could be. I don't know either. But yeah, I wouldn't encourage them to hang out by your house.
I know that's what they do.
Do you know that more people are killed every year by moose than by bear?
I'm sure by sharks too. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, moose are like,
yeah,
they are just machines of testosterone. They're like the temperament of a bull shark, but they're on land. They'll just charge anything.
Yeah, during mating season, stay away from moose. Stay way away from moose.
Yeah, yeah. I think less
hormones.
Yeah, exactly. There's raging hormones anyway. But I mean, generally speaking, a male moose is always full of testosterone, and piss and vinegar. They just don't put up with much. All right.
Chuck even said I got charged by a moose. Ooh.
Oh, geez.
You're lucky.
Ron the Sage says, yeah, moose are bad. Hey, yeah, they are. Moose are gigantic. Yeah, Ruth Ann knows. I'd like to be charged by a moose. Mousse. They'll charge you for moose. Different kind of moose, Maggie. You don't have them in Oz.
That was good, Maggie. That was good.
That was pretty good. Yeah. Same pronunciation. Different animal entirely.
That's the beauty of the English language right there.
Annie Manole says chocolate mousse.
Wait, mousse is French. Never mind.
I don't know what it is. Might be.
I think it's okay. Anyway.
All right. The next one, we're going to do this one and then we'll move on. Number 6, The Doctor Is In. Posted by Leanne Gould. My father was a paramedic that we lost to PTSD. Oh. Years after he passed, a neighbor and her 4-year-old daughter were over at our house in our sunroom in my dad's favorite room of the house, and they never met my father, and the little girl started playing a bit oddly, and her mom asked what she was doing. She said, I'm playing doctor with Uncle Wayne. He was almost a doctor, you know. And that's how my dad would explain what he was to little kids. My mom sold the house soon after. Well, why?
Why?
That sounds...
Oh my God.
Maybe she had to, though. I mean, it's just the ending of the story, so it's like, well, she had to move. Maybe it was too much house for her to keep track of or to afford. I mean, we don't know it's because of the ghostly thing, but...
The way they explained it,
yeah, that
insinuates.
That was really not well closed, because it sounds like, he's still here. Screw that guy.
Yeah, come on. That's cool. But if it's another reason, okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. I'm just saying. You can't jump to conclusions necessarily. But
I almost got emotional there. Ooh.
I did too. At first when I read it, I was like, what? I mean, that's a beautiful story, right?
Yeah.
Little girl, he's playing with the little child and having a dialogue with her. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's gorgeous. I'm like, what? That doesn't fit. That didn't fit at all. So.
I mean, what if it is the case? That's pretty shameful. I don't know.
Well, if it is, that is sad, because, I mean, obviously that's, it's kind of like when we investigated the Davenport Hotel, and every investigation I've been on, I've never had a negative experience investigating yet. And I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it hasn't happened yet. But I will tell you that in all these cases, it feels like I feel really fortunate, because you're having an opportunity to interact with a living history. These portions of history, these people that loved these places or were so attached to them in some way or another, are still there, and they're not trying to, be disruptive or horrible or terrifying. They're just there. And that's what our experience was. It was just like we were talking, and it's been, I've investigated 2 hotels now, and both of them were wonderful. I really enjoyed both of them. So, very cool.
And if you haven't seen the Davenport Hotel investigation, go see it. It's amazing.
Yeah, check it out. It's right on. If you look at the Paranormal Portal YouTube page or on Rumble, you'll find it either place, and BitChute. And
I'm putting it in the chats.
Oh, you putting it in the chat? Yeah.
Yep. Too bad. Here you go.
No, it's not. That's wonderful. I
No, I know.
I really want people to check it out, because I really want investigations to be a big part of what we do with the portal going forward. It's just I gotta have the interest. I gotta know people are interested in seeing it. I know all of you are. You all have been wonderful, but it costs a lot of money. So It's got to be something that I can't. I can't sell a kidney just so I can go out and investigate places. So I got to be able to afford it. So
Philip asks, have you investigated the Fox Theater in Spokane?
No, but I was right across from there at the Montvale. I don't know that the Fox does allow like an overnight investigation, or if they did, I imagine that would be probably a pretty pricey endeavor. But yeah, the Montvale Hotel, which is our next investigation video, that'll be coming out as soon as we can get it out. that's right across the street from the Fox Theater. So I looked at the Fox Theater throughout the night, and I heard stories about it. And there's some thought that perhaps some of the activity at the Montvale might be bleed through from the Fox. That's, probably having a hotel or a speakeasy. It was a speakeasy at one time. It was a brothel. It was, all kinds of things in its past. So I'm sure there was a lot of ties to what was going on at the Fox Theater became, part of what was going on at the Montvale and vice versa. So, very cool places though. Yeah. So yeah, that's wonderful. But I'd love to investigate the Fox Theater. I just don't know if that would be feasible if they do allow it, but I don't think they really promote the haunted part of their establishment. Like, they don't go out of their way to bring people in to investigate it. They just know that it's part of the building. I don't think anybody denies that the Fox Theater is haunted. They just don't, as far as I know. But Charles and I were talking about wanting to get in there, but even he didn't know, and he lives in Spokane. And he didn't know how we could make that happen or if we could. So, but if we can, we will. I promise you. I'd love to get in there.
I actually have a question. What would be your number one? If money wasn't an option and you could just go and investigate this one spot, what was that one spot be?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, yeah, I know.
I don't know. I mean, there would be tons of them. I'd like to check out Waverly Hills. I'd like to.
Someone's volunteering.
Well, if they bring money, I'll be happy to go. There's so many places. I'd like to check out the Boyd House, the Sally House. I'd like to check out even the Montana State Prison, which isn't too far away. If I could make that happen, I'd like to check out Brushy Mountain in Tennessee. That's a prison. That could be darker. Prisons could be darker. And I would expect that they would be. I think it'd be neat to investigate a hospital, but I've been in hospitals so much in my life that when we checked out St. Ignatius, that of course was a hospital, and there were still parts that smelled hospital-y, even though the place has been, largely abandoned for decades. It still had that smell and that feel. And having been in hospitals so much, it's not my first choice, but still I would like to check out any place that has activity. There's so many. I don't know if you could just...
Ooh,
what?
Hospital would probably give you a lot.
Yeah, well, St. Ignatius was, is a really famous place for having ghosts and stuff. But it was the night we were there, the 2 nights, we were actually there over 2 nights. And we had little activity happening here and there, but nothing really profound. We had much more activity at the at the Airbnb that we were staying at, which was much more active. And we got some great evidence there. But that was just supposed to be where we were going to go rest, sleep, and then go back to the St. Ignatius. But it was just the lesser of the 2 places was actually the much, much more active. And I will say this, I don't know, when you're investigating places, there could be something to the fact that the more people go through a place, maybe the less interested the spiritual presences would be to interact, because it's just like, oh, here comes more. Asking the same questions, doing that, oh yeah, I'll turn on your light. Oh, I'll make this ball flash, and it probably gets played out for them, so and especially during active times of the year, like when we were at St. Ignatius, it was around Halloween time or leading up to Halloween. I think we were there last September, and it was wonderful. I still really feel blessed and fortunate to have been there, but it was during a very active time when they had a lot of groups going through every night. And so I just think that really affected the amount of interaction we were able to have. So.
The other suggestions in here, start at the top. This one sounds familiar, Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Yeah, that's one of them that I said. Yep.
Oh, you did say that. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
That was one of them that I said, yeah.
What about, what was the other one? It was a really good one. Oh, yeah, Philip Blair says the Forbidden City in Beijing, China.
Oh, yeah, if you could ever get in there, that would be really something. I mean, I'd like to go to Oz and Australia and check out a bunch of that activity, the Yowies, and they have a ton of haunting stuff down there too. So I'd like to go over to England, check out some of those old castles. That to me would be amazing. I think that the older the place with the more history, and certainly Europe and Britain and the UK have so much more history than we have here in terms of our societies. Now, First Nations societies go back thousands and thousands of years, but I think it'd be neat to go, check out the pyramids in Egypt and things like that and investigate if that was possible. So all those things would be great. Pompeii. If money was no object, I would literally go anywhere and everywhere I could just to see. Not only to see the places, but just to see what activity is still there. That would respond to me. Because I think a lot of times, yes, Cockatoo Island, Brent. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think I ever heard that name before, but yeah. Come down under, I'll show you around, mate. River Morris says, I'm a tribal elder, and I've had 8 encounters. Wow. Ooh. River Morris, you got to reach out to me via email because we got to get in touch. I'd love to talk to you. Actually, if you've had 8 encounters, I'd love to have you on the podcast. Talk about your experiences if you're interested.
Yeah, I'll even send in the link to the home base of the Paranormal Portal where you can actually go and set up your own interviews if you want to share any of your stories, share your experiences if you wish.
Yeah, Sam C, I agree. Sam C says, I think northern Utah has been so underrated. Along with southern Idaho, there are pyramids, there's history, and there's everything. It's all here. You're right. When we go to Vernal, Utah, we did an investigation with the Supernatural Station podcast guys, Jaron and Roman, and on their family property in the region of Skinwalker Ranch, and we had some amazing stuff happening with the flashlight test and with the REM pod, and both Jaron and I felt physical pushes. Mine was later after going back to the hotel. I was laying down to go to sleep, and something hit, not hit me like an impact, but like a shove on the back, shoved me hard enough to roll me over in bed because I sleep on my side, rolled me over onto my face. And I was like, what? And I was actually furious because, I'm not into the let's, push me around kind of thing. So I had a come to Jesus moment there. And that was it. I don't think it was, I'm sorry. I just am so froggy. Sorry. I used my inhaler before the show and it shook everything loose. But there's so many areas I'd love to investigate and so much phenomena I'd love to investigate. I will tell you that things like the Bigfoot investigating and stuff, I think would be much harder for me, although easier now than it was because I've lost, about 75 pounds. But, just structurally speaking, I'm kind of a mess and, running around the mountains isn't probably something I'd be real strong at, but, I could hike around a little bit, I think, as long as it's not tough terrain. And I had a walker.
You're not that bad.
No, jeez. I know. But, there's times I do. I have a tough time getting to the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. All right. So.
Maybe just get a cane.
Get a cane. Congrats, Brent. Yeah. That's really great. Thank you, SoCal. Yeah, I've been working real hard on this because, my health was continually going downhill. And it was like, yeah, either I got to change this or I got to tutor Sheldon on how to run the portal. Look, kid, you got to learn this. I ain't got much time.
You have strength now.
No, I'm doing great now. I mean, I really feel much more energetic and alive than I have in a long time. So, Brent, I'm going to the fridge now, Taipan says. Godspeed to you, man. Godspeed. All right. Justin Good Earth. Yeah, I love the Cascade Range from BC to Northern California. Bluff Creek is definitely Bigfoot territory. Yeah, I'd like to go to Bluff Creek. It'd be interesting to go to the site and see where it all happened. But in my town, there's Vow Street Jail, built in 1881. It's still here in the city. I've never been there yet. Oh, yeah, you should go in there just to see if you can tour it or whatever, because I mean, it'd be interesting to see what vibes you picked up just through a space like that. I think that jails are real supercharged kind of places because people that are there aren't real happy to be there, obviously. And, you know, everybody understands why. But, yeah. Be right back to the fridge with my cane. Godspeed to you, Annie. Yeah, very cool. What did River Morse say? Rachel, I've seen Ginger D's and Brown Jacks also. Wow. Yeah, you definitely got to reach out to me, River. I'd like to speak with you. And you're an elder. God, that's a fantastic recipe. I'd love to hear your take on a lot of this stuff. I've interviewed several people from Oz and had a great discussion, but never with an elder. So if you don't mind, it'd be great. And I know our listeners love hearing stories from Oz, not to mention that a lot of people in Oz listen to the podcast as well. So we've got a wonderful audience of people there. All right. So, yes, that's why I went up there. Dreamt of going since being a kid. I'm sure it is to go up there, Justin. Yeah. I love our chats. Our chat communities are so cool.
They're the best.
I know. It's just so amazing.
I don't even mean that lightly. I think they're actually the best.
Yeah. I mean, even on Rumble, there's only a handful of people over there, but they're talking away. They're having these huge discussions. It's just fantastic. And YouTube's always been amazing. So you guys are awesome. I got to admit, I don't know what I did to deserve you guys, but I'm so glad you're here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I couldn't be more sincere in saying that. Okay, so we're going to head to Sasquatch Chronicles blog, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time for some cryptids. I don't even know what time it is, but it feels like the night is just flying by tonight, screaming by.
It always does.
Aussie. Aussie Tiger says, good to see you, brother. All right, so SasquatchChronicles.com. You're right on the ball, aren't you?
That's right. I have the tabs ready. They're always there.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
You got a tab farm just like your dad. Good job.
Right. I learned from the best.
All right, so let's get to some cryptids and find out just what's going on in the cryptidverse and see what we can see. So we're going to head to Sasquatch Chronicles blog. Special thanks to Wes and for making this possible for us to use his blog. Give it some traffic. Visit it. It's amazing over there. He does an amazing job keeping it current and relevant. So let's get to it. Sasquatch Chronicles blog. And we're going to go to April 26th, which is today. It's a brand new one. I guess I should have started on the older ones, but it doesn't really matter. They're all great stories.
Yeah, why not?
Look like an old man hunched over. Oof.
Oh, boy.
Excuse me. Listener writes, first I want to share what I heard at my parents' house. They live where one lake flows into another. Their lake is residential, but the next one is heavily forested with some farmland. Well, 2 years in a row, both spring and fall, I heard howls that don't belong in that area. The first time I heard it, I was listening for 15 minutes before I got my dad up. He heard it for another 45 minutes or so, and it was going on for a while. Wonder what his dad thought, or her dad thought. That's very strange. My second story was also with my dad, and we're driving on a 2-lane road near Sable River trying to find a place to fish. Well, I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm just enjoying the scenery, and we're driving along a large open field, and I see what I believe is a black bear running across it. We have large bears up here that are easily 500 pounds, and I thought this one was pushing 800, so I'm watching it. And I told my dad, there's a bear running in the field and is going full tilt. Well, I lost sight of it when we passed a copse of trees. And after we passed the trees, I see it again, and it was almost to the road. It was still running on all fours, and I see it and said almost nonchalantly to my dad, I don't think that's a bear. Well, he saw it and slowed down as it was about to cross the road. It got to the shoulder, still full speed, hit the double middle line on its first stride, and was off the road after its second stride. We were both shocked with what we had seen. My dad pulled over, and we didn't say a word for 5 minutes. We just know it was not a bear. I've tried to talk to my dad about it, but he doesn't want to believe it. I don't blame him, but I need to get it out. My last story, I was fishing the Flat River, which I have been since I can remember. I fly fish, so wading through this certain stretch, I had been hearing what I thought was trees cracking, and a loud noise, but it was windy that day, so I thought it was just normal noises. And I've heard many times before. I came up to a bend in the river with a grove of pine trees on the right. I saw something walking under the trees, just back and forth, back and forth. I thought it looked like an old man hunched over. This whole time I'm hearing what sounds like something big moving through the woods, but I can't see anything. I get up to the pines and I see it's a large, big-horned owl just pacing back and forth. And then it stops and it seems like it's facing me, and I hear a voice in my head just saying, "Get out, not safe." I wasn't far from my car, so I went to the opposite shore where I was hearing the noises and got to my car as fast as I could, but I did not feel safe. Wow. So I don't understand how big this owl was. Something big was moving around.
It's Bigfoot sized.
Well, no, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the owl was more of a premonition kind of thing, or warning this person like, hey, there's a really pissed off big thing in here. Get out of here. I don't know. It's kind of ambiguous from the storyline. It's hard to know for sure, but very strange.
So either symbolic or otherwise. But
right.
Either way, there's that inner, inner voice again, and it's when it comes to Bigfoot sightings.
Right. Well, there is that. Yeah. Interesting enough. Whatever it was. Yeah. At least they got the warning and took it seriously. That might be another angel story, really. Maybe the angel took the form of an owl. It's like
just like the old stories of the gods taking form of animals.
Right. Never know. Just saying. All right, let's go to the next one from Sasquatch Chronicles blog, and this is this is from yesterday, I guess, but this is a strange experience in Washington State. This one's pretty long, so we'll get to this one. Get ready. I'm about to read it. All right, let me grab a drink before this one. Got to wet the pipes down a little bit. Very good. Refreshing water, ladies and gentlemen. All right, April 25th, strange experience in Washington State. A listener writes, I live in the great state of Washington. More specifically, the western side, and I've hunted, fished, hiked, and camped a good amount of the Mountain Loop Highway in Darrington. All but one of my experiences have been on Mountain Loop. The first began in October of 2018. I was in my junior year of high school. A close friend and I decided that we would hike to Boardman Lake for the chance to catch brook trout on the fly. And the hike itself was not all that hard. Only about a mile in, nothing unusual happened on the way in, and after a couple of hours enjoying the day, we figured it was time to head back as the wind was picking up and the mountain was getting cold. Well, I started to feel what I thought were little pebbles hitting me and then bouncing off back into the brush. Well, at first I shut it out, believing it was just my friend messing with me, but as we kept on pushing through the trail, I grew tired of the nonsense, and I colorfully told my friend to quit with the games and to focus on getting home. He then told me that even if he wanted to, there were no rocks to pick up, and that I'm probably getting hit from some squirrel in the canopy above. Well, as time continued, so did the pebbles. At this point, I was all out of patience and decided I would catch him in the act. I would time about 5 to 7 seconds in between each hit. My plan was to turn around and confront him, and when I did so, I was surprised to see him sprawled out on the slippery rock face, being ever so careful so as not to sprain or injure himself. At that same moment, another pebble hit me directly on the left side of my body. After finding out that he was telling the truth, I turned back around and kept my head down and started to repeat in my head, "Just get to the car and everything will be fine." Throughout the last half mile or so back into the trailhead, I would be hit by 7 more pebbles. At the time, I did not even think about investigating or looking at where the hidden culprit could be. I just wanted to get back home. My next 2 experiences happened at the same forest road that connects the trailhead to the main mountain loop highway, and they were also a couple years apart. The forest road name is under Lake Evan Trailhead, and in June of 2020, during the pandemic, I decided to gather all my friends to go on one big camping trip. The first night we spent was filled with beer and laughter. Then more beer and more laughter after that. I wouldn't say we were the loudest around, but we certainly weren't library quiet either. There was no wind that night, and the sky was the clearest I have seen when suddenly we heard the biggest tree coming down. It was equally the most scared and nervous I had been at the time. The whole camp fell quiet as we were trying to figure out what the cause of the noise could have been. The rest of the night was quiet as we headed to bed. It wasn't until the morning after, when we tried to go up to Lake Evan, when we saw the biggest tree stump placed perfectly in the middle of the road. I'm not sure about the actual size, but it took 4 of us to move it out of the way. To give some context, I'm 5'10", 285 pounds. Well, that's a big boy at the time, and I was pushing a 425-pound deadlift and a 325-pound squat in pretty good shape. The other 3 were what you would call country strong, as they grew up jumping on cows and messing with horses. All 3 were 6'1" to 6'3". After moving the stump out of the way, we all began to feel a sense that maybe it wasn't a good idea to go to the lake. We all ended the trip shortly thereafter. Again, in June of 2022, I took 3 close friends to fish Lake Evan, and we fished the early morning as to avoid the summer hikers and potential other fishermen. We were the first people up there that day. My friend Caleb at this point knew the history I have with the area, so naturally he pointed out that if I felt uncomfortable at any time, we could just leave. And if it made me feel any better, that he would be fishing beside me. Caleb and I decided to fish the southern point of the lake, while his 2 younger brothers would fish the northern end. While we made our way to the spot, we saw what looked like an awful lot of giant wet footprints in the moss and a giant rock. The toes and heel of the track were in the moss, while the arch of the track was on a rock. Being a wet print, it was outlined almost perfectly. I remember vividly running my fingers gently across where I assumed the toe depressions would be and counting all 5 toes. After seeing the track, we were both apprehensive about continuing our plan. Hindsight is 20/20. If I could go do it all over again, I would have taken pictures, but at the time, all we wanted to do was run back to the car. Since then, I've not set foot back in that specific area. I like to think that whatever is out there has given me 3 chances as a warning. I'd rather not push my luck. I've not stopped doing what I love when it comes to hunting and fishing, and I simply find ways around it, whether it means I only hunt the scablands of eastern Washington and only fish the lowland lakes within city limits. If I ever do camp now, it's within a vehicle of some sort. I never enter the mountains without my firearm, and when I go to the range, I always keep 2 spare mags fully loaded, no matter what. You can never be too safe. When it comes to the matter of Bigfoot, I'm not quite sure what it could be. I've also encountered what people call orbs of light at a place called Green Mountain, and I have a friend I call my brother who has experienced a weird lanky shadow-like creature, entity, phenomena in that neck of the woods. I'd like to thank you if if I haven't already, for taking the time to read this email. For the longest time, I felt like I would have to live with the understanding that no matter who I tell, no one would ever understand the emotions that one feels in the moment when you realize that maybe the boogeyman and the monster stories could have some real meanings. Yeah, absolutely. Huh.
Ooh.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a busy place, this Evan Lake, wherever that is.
Jeez.
Right? Crazy.
The thing I'm always curious during these stories too is at some points what time of the year is it? Is it during a migration? Is it where they're settled, or are they just moving through?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be, I guess. I don't know. It sounds like it's all like warm months, summer, summerish. But I don't know if that's when they're having families. I think there is possibly times when they're more territorial, and that could be because it's more of a family group at that time, like with young, maybe newborns. I don't know when their mating season is. I've heard fall, with the idea that then the mother carries the baby through the cold months and then has it in the beginning of the warm. You know, some like they have a similar gestation to ours.
Oh, that could be.
You know, and then the baby has a chance to grow and develop in the warm months when the food is plentiful and, you know, it's not a struggle to survive. But I imagine it also affects how robustly they can move around when they've got these little ones that obviously have to be probably carried and such. So they probably stick to an area for a period of time, maybe a year. And that, you know, or the better part of a year anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard to say, but it's interesting. Interesting.
You know, oddly enough, I know this might sound odd to some people, maybe not, but the thing that actually makes me most nervous about like Bigfoot research and like going out and exploring some of these areas isn't actually the Bigfoot itself. The thing that scares me more is like a bear.
Yeah. Well,
because like the Bigfoot sounds more intelligent. From all these stories, it's more like it does it psychologically, just kind of pushing you away. Whereas a bear, you know, it's a lot more aggressive.
Yeah.
In their tactics of pushing you out.
Sure.
As far as we've read, at least.
Well, I will tell you.
Read about.
Yeah, I will tell you that you know, there isn't a Bigfoot hunting season, but there is bear hunting, and so a lot of times, like in this area, there's a lot of bear hunters. A lot of the people say if you ever see one of the cinnamon bears up here, they call them cinnamon bears because they're more cinnamon colored, but they're black bear kind of thing. It said they will run. They just see people and just boom are gone, like they do not stick around. Whereas there's other areas where the bear clearly are a little more aggressive. You know, I guess the big warning sign for a bear is that like with black bear, if they clap their jaw together, like in this.
Oh, isn't that a bad sign?
That's a really bad sign. Like yeah, that's a bad sign, like they're about to attack. But yeah, it's terrible. A bear attack would be horrible, don't get me wrong, and it can happen. I just saw a video, I think I saw that video originally about a year ago, but I just saw it again yesterday, where and I think the guy's in Russia, he's a hiker, and he comes on this lethargic grizzly bear, and it's just kind of moping along, so he goes up behind it, and the bear isn't aware he's there. And it reaches out and touches the bear, and the bear turns around like startled and scared at first, but then all of a sudden the ears fold back. And this is a grizzly, not a huge grizzly, but it's a grizzly. The ears fold back, and this bear just goes boom right at the guy. I mean, it's just a blur of teeth and paws, and the phone drops, and apparently the guy was, you know, it just attacked him and then went on its way, but it bit through his hand. Like it is what the guy said, and maybe it wasn't in Russia, maybe it was somewhere else. But I mean, what a stupid thing. You don't go up and try to pet a bear. I mean, you deserve to have your hand bit. You know. I'm
sorry, that's not if that's natural selection. You know, go ahead, nature. You know, that's just dumb. That is unbelievably.
That's Darwin in action right there.
Yeah, that's Darwin. Jeez.
So Vincent Sanchez says that loop is only open in spring and summer. So all of these events where they were using this loop, he says is only open during spring and summer. Thank you, Vincent. Appreciate that background.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at the chat to see if Bigfoot is a wild, extremely intelligent creature. I'll take the bear over Bigfoot any day. SoCal Squatcher says, yeah.
Yeah, but as far as that's the thing. No, it's like, but this could be survivorship bias too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
These are the survivor stories. Who knows? Missing 411. You never know.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I just don't like the idea of being on the food chain. And every time I'm in the mountains up here, I'm always thinking, I'm on the food chain now. I'm not,
Yeah.
You're in an area where there's things that can eat you, and not that actively happens, but in this area, there's usually one or two people that get mauled by a bear every year. Well, and there's grizzlies up here. Most of the bear attacks I think are by black bears, but generally speaking, when they happen.
Do you ever hear any reports living up there that there's a bear in town or in entering? Do you get warnings like that often, or is it pretty rare?
The only wildlife other than the small things, raccoons, squirrels, kind of stuff, is the moose. The moose do come into town. There's this mother moose. And she'll usually have one of her calves with her. I think she was here last winter. Don left the show, and she was just outside the door, 20 feet away, chewing on the plum tree out there. And it was in the winter, and Don's like, "Hey, you got a moose outside." And so we both went and looked at it, and Don finally just decided he had to get going, so he walked out anyway, and it ignored him. But it's largely used to people, which is good, and it's never been aggressive, but. She camped in my backyard for a day, two or three winters ago.
Oh God!
Yeah, she just slept overnight with her calf, when she had it. But this last time I saw her, she didn't have a calf. So either it didn't make it, or she's just gotten old now and is not, breeding. So anyway,
River, I know about that.
What's that?
Drop bears. God, we know about that one.
We know about your drop bears.
We know about it.
We aren't your usual Yanks.
You can't trick us.
Yeah, we got your drop bears. In fact, this is a card from Sarah Bignell, and she was the only thing she wanted was to. She said, "Oh, can you draw fangs on that so it's a drop bear?" Oh, I guess I got to get it on camera there. There we go.
Yep.
It's a koala drop bear. Nice. I will tell you, the koalas are the cutest damn things, but God, they sound like they are the spawn of Satan.
I actually don't know what they sound like.
What?
I actually don't know what they sound like.
Ooh, all right. Well, it's time for a little National Geographic here on the portal.
Right, nice.
Koala bear noises. Let's just see. What noises do koalas make? All right. This is from a channel. Whoops. Let's do this. Hold on. I got to mute it through the ads. I'll play it. You can hear that though, right, Sheldon?
Yeah, I heard the ad.
Okay. What noises do koala bears make? Oh, the ghosts are here.
Oh, ghosts are interesting too.
Oh, that's a cute noise. Baby koalas yip and squeak to find their mom. That's a baby koala. This is from Discovery Channel. That's a baby. That.
Oh my God. I would be terrified to hear that in the woods.
I know, right?
Wow.
I mean, this is a football-sized pocket of fur that's like rumbling like it's about 18 feet tall. It's like, Jesus. How did that noise come out of a koala? I don't know. But that's freaky stuff. So there you go.
Wow, that is fascinating. Okay.
John says, sounds like my dog's squeaky toy. You need a new toy for that dog. Jesus. I think they were brown bears, not super big, but he got into things a lot. Okay. People talking about bears. Sarah Bignell is my sister. She's cool. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Love Sarah. Sarah's been on the show here a few times, and we've always had great talks. In fact, I got to reach out to her sometime again. Cool. Check her out. Yowie Central. Absolutely, River. She's wonderful. And Cade's wonderful, too. All you people down under. Down under.
That's right.
And remember, Foster's is Australian for beer. No, I'm just kidding, River. I know you guys don't really like Foster's. I think when I do come to Oz, I'm going to drink a Foster's, though, just see how many people want to beat the hell out of me.
Maybe he'll find you.
What the hell's wrong with you? Koalas have an STD problem. Yeah, I heard about that. What the hell? Koalas are a little sloppy.
Weird.
No, mate, it's VB. VB, okay. All right. I don't know. What is that, like Vegemite beer or what? What's VB? And koalas with VD. Hey, we got all kinds of V's. Rachel D, come from a land down under. Raccoons sound like little aliens. Yeah, I actually lived with a pet raccoon for a year. And that was an interesting thing. Turns out it either loved me a lot or it didn't like me. I'm not sure which it was. Because it kind of wanted to claim me as its territory. So it was really strange.
Oh, Taipan, it says Victorian bitter.
Victorian bitter. Gotcha, Taipan. Okay. See, I don't like the bitters. I don't like Guinness and stuff. I don't like bitters. I like pale ales a lot and summer shandies and stuff, and IPAs. But I like the lighter tasting beer. I never got into the bitters.
Oh, I love me some mead. That's my jam.
You like mead?
Oh, I love mead.
Huh. Well, you can get a recipe and make your own.
That's true. I've heard it's not that hard. It just takes time.
It is time consuming, but I made honey mead once years and years ago. That was pretty cool. That was some tasty stuff, folks. So that was the experience in Washington State. I hope you guys like that. We kind of got sidetracked on koalas, but hey, that's how it works here in the portal.
We started with Sasquatch, end up on drop bears.
Well, we start with bears, and then we ended up with drop bears.
That's right.
And then we ended up with beer.
And then we ended up, and then mead, and then
there we go. And then we ended up in mead after that, yeah. All right, I love stouts too, Karen says. Yeah, we're on an IPA. Initial public offering. I don't think that one failed. Drop bears and beer. Somebody should make drop bear beer. That'd be hilarious.
There you go. A local thing. Yeah, there you go.
Drink drop bear beer, you'll get drop dead drunk.
There you go.
Yeah, it's an all Aussie show, Maggie says. Absolutely. We love our friends in Oz. You guys have made us we've been told we are honorary Australians. So
and I love the accents so much.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's several accents actually in Australia. There's some that sound more British, and there's some that are absolutely Crocodile Dundee. And I'm sorry for the stereotype, but there's just some great accents. You guys, I love all accents, honestly. I wish I was better at a lot of them, but I like to play around with accents. Mm-hmm. All right. Sweet honorary Aussie. You got it, Barbara. That's me. I've been told. Yep, you really are, Brent. Aw, thank you, Maggie. Thank you. Yeah, that's on my bucket list. Getting back to your question, if money was no object, where would you go? One of the places I would try to go right away is Australia. Yep, I would really love to go there. Hang out. I've been told people will, put me up there. So, I've been told. I don't know if I show up on their door like, I'm here. Christ, you're serious? So we'll see if that invitation stays valid when I'm actually on a plane. Hey, sorry, it turns out we're out of town. Oops. It's okay. Then there's me, a weird amalgamation of two Brit-Aussie, a Brit and an Aussie. Yeah, Maggie.
So kind of
you got a wonderful accent though, Maggie. I miss when you would call in actually.
Oh yeah, Maggie calls. Yeah.
The Maggie calls. Takes you about a good 20 seconds to get used to it. And then after that, it's like you've been listening to it your whole life. Yeah, it's a wonderful accent. Yep. I had a beer once that tasted like roofing tar smelled, but drank it and liked it. Okay. That must be an acquired taste, Rachel. One that I'm
the
not
show turned from the Paranormal Portal to the beer portal. Okay, what are we doing here?
Are you kidding? I mean, I used to do this show And I honestly, okay, this is full disclosure. When I first started doing live shows and first started getting an audience, I did them for a while and didn't have many people showing up, just a handful and stuff. But when we first started really getting an audience, it used to be incredible. I would be sitting there talking about these ghost stories and UFOs and cryptids and stuff, and I'd look at the chat and they're trading recipes. I'm like, and I was like, what am I doing? Am I not entertaining? So it'd be like, why exactly am I doing this show? I should change it to the food portal.
Food Network, the Food Portal, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The paranormal pot dish or whatever. I don't know, but I used to get uptight about it, but I'm like, if people are coming in and having conversations and enjoying themselves, then something's right. It may not be always on topic, but we're still have this community in this place where people feel comfortable and feel at home. And so I soon outgrew that worry and just decided, whatever, we'll just embrace it, having a good time. So
John's got a good point. It's like a happy, distant family here.
yeah, exactly. It really is. Yep. Absolutely.
That's a good Homer impression. I guess that's the first time Fred's hearing it.
Aw, thanks, Fred. Yeah. I wish I could get paid for that, but there's already a guy doing it, so they didn't need me, dicks.
Oh, you used to have that's right. You told me about it. I think I've maybe heard it once a long time ago. Remember you used to have like in your hometown, you had a voicemail machine. People would just call in just to hear all the impressions you did.
Yeah, I used to do a bunch of them. I did Pee Wee Herman and Homer and Beavis and Butthead and all kinds of impressions in a row on the answering machine. And people would just call and not answer, and they say, no, don't. I'm going to call back. Just let it pick up. They would get mad if I answered my phone because they wanted to hear the voicemails or the introduction message on my recording machine. So, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, God.
I've always loved impressions. I'm not great at a bunch of them, but I could do a handful.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get to the... That's right here, right next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Someone's stopping in.
Somebody says, let's hear Pee Wee.
It's been years since I've done Pee Wee. I don't even think I could do it now. And I have to do it louder, too, by the way. I just got to get really loud. Yeah, I'd have to practice it a little bit before I whip out the Pee Wee Herman. But, yeah, I used to do a hell of a Pee Wee as well. So I can also do Barney the Drunk on Simpsons. Because it's the same guy doing the voice. Dan Castellaneta does Homer, and I think he doesn't do Moe. That's Hank Azaria, but he also does Barney and a few other ones. And I can do the Barney and I can do the Homer, but I can't do the Homer scream. I wish I could. I just can't do it. My voice will not scream like that.
Oh yeah, that's unique. It's unique, yeah.
It is. All right, let's get on to the next one. Sasquatch Chronicles. What time is it?
It's like almost time. It's like 10 minutes to go, basically.
10 minutes. How long is this article? This is too much article for that. We'll save this one for tomorrow. Let's look at this one. Is this one shorter?
What a show, guys. Hope you guys had fun.
Here's vocalizations in Washington. It actually comes with a sound file from Wes on Sasquatch Chronicles, his YouTube page. So let's check this out. This is April 22nd, vocalizations in Washington. A listener writes, I'm a fan from British Columbia, Canada, and was down in Washington, Quailcene? I don't know what that means, but and we're doing lots of calls remotely while kayaking. My iPhone did not pick up the intensity of the sound. My boyfriend spends a lot of time out in the wild and is very familiar with animal sounds. Wondering your thoughts. I wish I captured more of it. It went on for over 20 minutes, and each time I went to record it, it would stop. This is immediately after doing calls, and I recorded the first bit, and you can see the timestamp. It was about 2 minutes after a whoop. At first, we thought it was a mountain lion, but the intensity was fierce and much louder. It sounded to us like there was 3 screaming. I have to admit we were kind of obnoxious with doing so many calls, It may have aggravated one, to be honest. We found very, very large imprints on the beach too, which we didn't take photos of. I just didn't feel they were clear enough. My boyfriend showed me his weight to step into the gravel to show how much that footprint must have weighed. My boyfriend weighs about 190 pounds and barely made a dent in this gravel where the large print was bigger than his size 13 shoe. I'm kicking myself now for not taking photos of it, especially after we left in kayaks and heard these screams. Aw, thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, we're going to listen to these sounds, folks. So if you got headphones, put them on. I have not heard these before, so I don't know how loud or soft they are, but it's best to be ready. So here you go. Some vocalizations in Washington. And I'm just going to play the video because it's Wes's. He's not going to copyright me. Yeah, they're way off in the distance.
Wow.
That ain't no seal. That one didn't even sound like a mountain lion.
Not at all.
No.
Well, there you go. It's really hard to make out. I guess if you have the opportunity, I'll put the link in the chats if you guys want to check that out and try to crank it up a little more. It's in the background. It sounds like,
Yeah,
but I
it's
imagine
like
in person it was much more robust. It's just the cell phone didn't pick up the real dynamicness of that sound. But perhaps if you could get headphones on and really crank it up, you could really catch more of that. So I'm
interesting.
putting the link in here. I cranked it up as high as it would go on my board, but that's all we got. So I don't know if you could, I could put it into Audacity and really boost up that segment to try to hear more of it. But you're also going to get a lot more of the ambient, bird noise and stuff that's near there, and the wind noise. Or the kayak noise, whatever that was, that kind of low rumbling sound. But there we go. Huh. Interesting, though.
It's like a soft stream.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't so soft in person. But, you're asking a cell phone, which is designed not really, it's not dynamically and mechanically designed to really pick up background noises. It's meant to pick up close field sounds.
Yeah.
So you really need specific equipment to really capture that as you hear it. Parabolic mics would be a good start because, you can aim it and really, boost sounds from a direction, or really high quality mics that are extraordinarily sensitive that may have really picked up that tone much better. But it's just a general purpose cell phone mic. So it captured at least something, and you can hear something, and it sounds like somebody way off in the distance going, ah! But it sounds like in person that was much more powerful. So the only decent thing about my phone is when it zooms, it increases the volume of recording. Oh, really? That's interesting, Maggie. Huh.
Wow. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. That is a neat feature. And maybe that's a feature you can turn on in phones. I don't know. I don't know enough about my own phone to know. It's funny. You never know. I used to be in IT. I built networks and I configured servers and all this stuff, but I can hardly operate my cell phone now. I'm out of step.
Yeah, new technology evolving.
Well, it's just that my focus is no longer on technology. It's all on, ghostly technology, investigative technology, and doing videos and music and stuff is something I'm always focused on, and the shows. So anyway, there you have it, folks. That was the sounds. I think it's pretty interesting. I think that they probably did capture some possible vocalizations, but they're way off in the distance.
It's hard, for me personally. It's hard with any kind of like noises or screams or anything like that, because like even rabbits have like horrifying screams, and like even the koala there has some horrifying screams. So it's like I am completely blind on like what could be Bigfoot related or not.
Well, I think if you're ever going to actively look for things like that, you can't really, I mean, you can listen to what people have recorded that they believe might be Bigfoot, but I think a better place to start would be to listen to known animals, like listen to what fox vocalizations could be, mountain lion, bobcats, lynx, any of the animals that could be in your area. Listen to samples of those so you get used to what you should be hearing. And even deer can make sounds, and vocalizations, like fawns can bellow.
Yeah.
I've heard that many times.
Mm-hmm.
Actually rescued a real young fawn once from a fox that was very, very aggressively chasing it around right behind your grandmother's house. I ran out.
Yep.
It was a horrible experience, just for the record. So Mom and I were having coffee that day, and we both heard it. She knew there was a mother deer and a baby that were bedding back down there, but all of a sudden, here, I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's like this little fawn is just running around and bellowing, and then we both get up and look out the back, and we can see this little fawn shooting back and forth in the burning nettles, and right behind it is this fox. And it's like chasing it around, and the baby's trying to get away. It must have, shook it out of its, the mother wasn't there, and it was the fawn was laying down, just doing what fawns do, is freezing. But this fox must have found it and shook it loose. Well, I'm in shorts, barefoot. So I go down the back stairs at the house, and there's a bit of an embankment, a grassy embankment, but it had just been raining. Well, that grassy embankment turned into a mudslide. So I was walking down, took one step onto the grassy embankment, went onto my back, slid down the rest of the grassy embankment, got up, and was pissed. And then I just ran in the direction of this fawn. And I'm like, ah! And I realized my legs are on fire. I'm in shorts, and I'm in a field of burning nettles at this point, up to my waist, if not higher. And my legs are absolutely on fire, and I'm just a pit of rage and hate at this point. And then finally I got it to a point where I was able to spook the fox off of the fawn. It went up on the embankment behind, and then it froze halfway. It like stopped halfway and turned around and looked at me like, "Oh, you're stupid." And I was so mad, I just grabbed a branch and threw it at it. And it took off running. I was like, ah!
Oh my god!
Yeah, all in my desire to save this little fawn. Well, I saved the fawn. It's
Why? I mean, how small was like a newborn fawn, or how big is
young.
this fawn?
I mean, it was really young. It was small, tiny.
Why would it? Oh, so like a fox would be a predator for it? I don't know.
I
Fox
guess
seems really small to me. I don't know.
It was surprising to me too. But if it's a hungry enough fox, I mean, my God, it's a baby. It's not. The fox has teeth. I imagine a fox could kill a baby fawn.
I guess.
But that thing was cruising, and that fox was cruising right after it. It wasn't like playful. It was just like, so
that
it was a horrible experience. Though. I was so mad, and I came in, and my legs were just full of welts from these burning needles in my skin. I was furious. I was just furious, but I did it. Anyway,
it wasn't poison ivy.
No, I oddly enough, I don't seem to get that. I used to run through the woods all the time in shorts, and didn't know what poison ivy was when I was littler, but found out. And I found out that I've been running through poison ivy for years and never got it. So,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. But maybe that was a gift of youth, and I think I'd probably die from it now, to be honest with you. But anyway, I think that's about our journey. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess it is.
You got a few minutes left, but Bambi lived. Absolutely. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it did. At least for the rest of that day. That fox, I couldn't believe it stopped there and just turned around. I mean, it ran far enough away that it was up the embankment a little bit, but then it just stopped and turned and stared at me. I was like, I was already in agony and dirty, mud head to toe, needles in my every bare skin spot and also through my T-shirt. And I was just like, oh, I was so mad. I was so mad. I was like, look what you made me do. So, yeah, there you have it. I don't know. Just one of those stupid stories from my past, but it was a moment. It was a moment. True story. And we've actually had some activity on the ghost radar tonight. That's interesting because for the last several shows, it really hasn't done anything. So this tonight, it seems a little more active. Apparently, drop bears pulled it out. Pulled the ghosts out of hiding. Like, what? Drop bears? We're going to tune in. Too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Are we headed for Venus? What? Eric Fry wants to know if we're heading for Venus.
If you want to. Sure. Let's go.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. I don't know. It's a glorious day here on the portal, and thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and being a part of the journey. I know sometimes this show becomes an aimless mess, but I hope you have a good time anyway. Just kicking back and being a part of it. It sure means the world to us. And, if you wouldn't mind, we'd love for you to spread the word about the portal and tune into the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's available everywhere. iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox, and every other platform. If you have a cell phone, click the podcast icon that's on either Androids or iPhones and search for Paranormal Portal and you'll find it. If you can leave reviews, that's great. We'd love your support in that way, just because reviews are a real huge way that you can help promote the show to other people that might stumble on the podcast. And so, good reviews.
Yes, the good kind.
If you don't like the show, don't worry. Never mind. So
just don't listen. That's all.
Don't listen. That's all right. Tune out. Carry on. Nothing to see here. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good. The minion showed up too. It's just a family event here. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
So how you doing tonight?
Good.
Let me go here so we can see you. There you go. What you been doing?
Watching your thing.
Oh, you were in you did a tournament earlier, didn't you?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Good.
Did you place?
No.
No? Okay.
Well,
good.
yeah. Just really low.
Oh.
That's fine. That's okay.
That's okay. That's how it starts, buddy.
It's below the 5,000, I think.
That's okay. That's where you start. You can always improve later. Did you have a good time?
Uh-huh.
That's all that matters. Okay. Well, I guess that's about it. Sheldon, anything in closing?
Absolutely, guys. Here is to the Discord, to the Paranormal Portal Discord. Feel free to join. Lots of great discussions, lots of great communities, lots of great, what would you call them, categories to go in, as well as the other. ParanormalPortal.net is the home base of the Paranormal Portal. Like I linked earlier, feel free. Stay up to date on the podcast, stay up to date next episodes coming up, as well as having an interview if you want to. And River, please feel free to schedule your own as well.
Yeah, River, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you, brother, if you don't mind. That'd be wonderful. So, I guess that's going to wrap it up for us. What do you think, Minion?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we should close the show. So, everybody, remember, we love you. Good night. Sweet dreams. Sleep tight. But we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Huh?
Can I say?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And laugh all you want.
And laugh all you want. You kind of jumped to the end there. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic every day. And remember to laugh.
As much as you want.
As much as you can. Yeah, absolutely.
As much as you want.
All right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you, Sheldon, for being here. It was wonderful to have you.
Of course.
And until tomorrow night, we'll be back 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join us then. We'll dive into another 2-hour adventure of the Paranormal Portal. Good night, everybody. Have a great Friday night. And mind your P's and Q's. A little bit of trivia. Mind your P's and Q's. That's an old saying that English housewives would tell their husbands before they go out. Mind your P's and Q's. Mind your pints and quarts. And since we were talking about beer tonight, I figured I better let you guys know. All right. Good night, everybody. Take care. Love you. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night.